The following is an original A-Livin' podcast.
Alrighty, Wyatt, it's time. We've been waiting for this for about 27 years, even though we weren't around for about 4 to 5 of those years. It's time to talk about the Kyle Larson North Wilkesboro weekend. Man, I'm really happy to be talking about this one. Because North Wilkesboro back on the schedule for the first time since September of 1996. And we're going to review it all right here on the 41st edition of GTN. As always, I'm Elijah Leonard. To the left, that is Wyatt Walker. And if you're wondering where Nathan is, of course, he has probably brought it up before. Unfortunately, he is not with us right now because he is in Indianapolis at the Indy Motor Speedway for Indy 500 festivities. Hopefully he's having himself a really good time, and we look forward to seeing him very, very soon once he gets off of those festivities. Now, North Wilkesboro. Let's break it down, starting off with the truck race. That's a race I had no idea was on TV at that point until lap 60. And so I saw Fox on the top right-hand corner. I'm like, oh, shoot, this race is actually on TV? I flipped over to my actual broadcasting TV stuff on my monitor, and there it is. It's right there.
I was able to catch a good little bit of the truck race. So obviously Kyle Larson about damn near dominated the whole race.
Yeah, they might as well have renamed it the Kyle Larson 250. Because listen to these laps. The only other driver that has led just as many laps as Kyle Larson is Corey Heim. He led 75 laps to start out the race. I think he dominated the first stage.
Yeah.
Won that first stage, of course. I think led even the opening laps to the second stage. And then it was the Kyle Larson show from then on. I mean, of course, you got Bubba who led 13 laps. Carson Hocevar led 16 laps. William Byron led 10. But Kyle Larson pretty much was the class of the field all day long. And led 138 laps en route to the first official NASCAR win at North Wilkesboro for the first time since 96.
And we'll get to the other one here soon, but he didn't just dominate the truck race. Let's say he dominated the cup race too. We'll talk more about that later. I just want to throw that little in there. It's like he just dominated that track.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah, pretty much. It was no contest. Essentially, I mean, as far as the cup race was concerned, the racing that we saw at North Wilkesboro, the only thing that I've seen or even heard good things about for the cup side was the open, and that's it. Other than that, the actual main event, I heard that unfortunately, there weren't too good reviews about it. It mainly was just the Kyle Larson show. Even when he got put at the back, he blasted through everybody to get back to the front, and he essentially stayed there. Right?
It wasn't the Kyle Larson show at the beginning though, because it was the Daniel Suarez show. Because Daniel Suarez started out and he led a bunch of laps at the beginning, and he was pretty good. I thought he may have had a shot. And then Kyle Larson made that strategy move, get those tires. And then after that, and a pit road penalty, he ended up moving up to the front very quickly, and he stayed there for the whole time.
Because I'm looking at this. Suarez and Larson were the only two leaders that whole night. Suarez led 55 laps. Kyle Larson 145 laps. Out of the 190 laps 200. I can't do math. 200 laps run. And that's just insane. Like, here's a guy, like, listen, here's a guy that has competed at what? The last I heard, this stat from, I think it was Adam Alexander during the truck race, 199 tracks that all together that Kyle Larson has been on. Here's a guy that has competed almost on 200 racetracks altogether, regardless rather, because I was told that was not a word. Regardless of what series he's in, whether it be in NASCAR or a winged sprint car or a quarter midget. It doesn't matter or a dirt late model. It doesn't matter what kind of race car he's driving. Doesn't matter what type of track he's been on. He's been on 199 tracks at this point. And he's one of those drivers that has never touched North Wilkesboro. Nobody in that truck field has ever touched North Wilkesboro up until this past weekend. You could argue the Cup guys as well, unless if your name is Kevin Harvick. But I digress. Or I wouldn't say Ryan Newman because I wouldn't know Newman.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, because he raced, I think, even trucks back in the mid to late 90s before he moved up to Xfinity. He's just like,
I'm trying to think because like I don't remember. I'm trying to think like I know he won the I think it was the 2001 championships he won back to back. Kevin Harvick did, or was it?
Yeah, you're right. It was 2001 and then 2006.
He won two championships back to back, didn't he?
No, actually. So he was only a two-time Xfinity champ. He won in 2001 when he was pulling double duty. And then 2006 when he did it again. But trucks, he hasn't won any championships.
Yeah, I know that.
Obviously, of course.
Oh yeah. You're right. It says it right here.
No.
Alright, I'm wrong. but even this, like, he did like won the 2001 championship, but it's like he's been racing in the Xfinity for a few years. I don't remember hearing him ever being.
Yep, he's actually been in the truck series before he even went up to Xfinity. Believe it or not, one of the trucks that he did drive was a 98 Ford. Literally number 98 Ford F-150. I don't know which tracks, but I know he drove one. So, there's another thing that I wanted to bring up, but not until we get done with our finishing results for both the truck race and the All-Star event at North Wilkesboro.
And there's something I want to bring up too.
So, of course, the truck race results, Kyle Larson, no contest, was the winner. Ty Majeski coming home in the second position. Matt DiBenedetto third. Carson Hocevar fourth. Wow. I can talk. It's Monday. Carson Hocevar fourth. Bubba Wallace fifth. Corey Heim sixth. Matt Crafton seventh. Chase Purdy eighth. Ross Chastain ninth. And Grant Enfinger completed the top 10. From positions 11th through 20th goes as follows. William Byron. Chris Hacker having himself a good run, coming home in the 12th position, man. I feel like this is a whole, like, you see the driver portrait for Chris Hacker. He looks like he means business. I like that. He looks like he means business. Stuart Friesen coming home 13th, and it's Daniel Dye, Brett Holmes, Christopher Bell, Caden Honeycutt, Tanner Gray, Lala Salin, and Haley Deegan completed the top 20. Then from 21st on down to 30th goes as follows: Taylor Gray, Chris Wright, Jake Garcia, Colby Howard, Christian Eckes, Tyler Ankrum, Spencer Boyd, Josh Williams, Connor Jones, and Nicholas Sanchez, the top 30. And then from the final 6 competitors going as follows in this order: Timmy Hill, who was the last truck running on the racetrack as far as scoring is concerned. Then Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Raja Caruth, Dean Thompson, and Johnny Sauter, who went out of the race on lap 153 due to electrical problems. Now, for our Cup main event, the All-Star race, once again, no contest here. Kyle Larson, the winner. Bubba Wallace coming home in second. You notice a theme here? The top two Cup guys were Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace. If Bubba did not spin his tires and actually kept up with Larson, he would have finished second. But I digress. Anyways, Bubba Wallace second, Tyler Reddick third, Chase Briscoe fourth, Chase Elliott coming home inside of the top five, the Chase and Chase show. Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Ty Gibbs, and Joey Logano coming home inside of the top 10. Then positions 11th through 20th goes as follows. Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick and his one-off for the 29, Brad Keselowski, and William Byron coming home inside of the top 20. And then our final four competitors goes as follows. Austin Cindric, Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who only finished the race 4 laps down. No one went out of the race to any issue whatsoever. That is, for as small as a field as it is, it's still pretty impressive to me.
Still pretty good. And first off, it was great to see Harvick back. I was never involved in the sport when Harvick drove to 29, but for me, it felt right. It felt right seeing him back in 29. I liked it, and I really think he should have won that All-Star race. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I feel like he really should have, honestly. I mean, unfortunately, just looking at the results, he didn't really have a whole lot of speed, and a lot of it could have had something to do with the short track package that just has gotten a lot of negative comments on. I mean, mine being one of them.
The short track package is just crap.
It just is. There's no explaining it. But
no sugarcoating it.
But
and
there was something else I was going to bring up, and that is something that I want to try to do every week. And this is something I thought about while I was at work. Who won the weekend? Is it the Truck Series or the Cup Series?
Ooh, this is new.
Yeah. Just want to see if we have a little bit of like if it's just Cup or if it's Trucks or Xfinity, like who had the best kind of racing for sure.
Well, here lately on short tracks, it's the lower series who post the more action Cup Series just because of the package. So, in my personal opinion, I think the truck race got this one.
Agreed.
We had great racing all around. We actually had some passing here and there, more bumping runs, different lead changes at least.
Bumping, grinding, banging. This race had everything, especially when you're coming back to a track that hasn't really been raced on by the top 3 touring series in almost 30 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This race had everything. Now, what was the thing you were going to bring up?
That would be pretty interesting to see that come into play later on, especially what's coming up this week. What I want to talk about is something I haven't been able to talk about the last 2 weeks. And I know I am late for this party here. I should have grabbed one of my hats. But ever since he was announced to do this, I'm disappointed I haven't been able to be here talk about this. This is stuff going on with me in the past in my personal space right now, so I wasn't able to come or have the ability to show up and do it. But now I'm able to talk about this. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. My boy was in the booth for Darlington for stage 2. Oh, I was such a happy camper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heard his voice. Heard his voice, and then seeing him do a great job in commentating that race. And he even talked about, like, it's been harder and harder for him to not want to race now.
Yeah.
I will be so happy if it's announced that he will do, even if it's a one-off. Even if it's a one-off, I would be happy to see my boy race again. I haven't really got to talk about this ever since I saw he was on the booth. I've been wanting to talk about this. This is probably my favorite. Been one of the favorite things to happen to me this year. To see Carlo was coming back. Carlo would talk. He's the one that got me in the sport.
Yeah.
Obviously, my name, yes, he's my favorite, but a lot of people don't know that he's the one that got me involved in the sport. And ever since he retired, I wasn't able. I've been trying to find drivers, but Carl Edwards is always in my heart. If you follow me on YouTube or follow me anywhere, you know that he's still my guy. He's the person I base my name off of. He's my driver. I was happy to see him, and hope he comes to race again. And I already know, as much as I don't want to say it, I know if he comes back, he's not going to be the same Carl Edwards as before. I already know this. If he wins a race, I will be so happy. If he wins races again, I will be happy. But he's been away too long, and he has never driven these cars, so I don't see him doing as good. But I would be so happy if he came back.
A lot of people would, for sure. A lot of people would.
I've been meaning to talk about that for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I figured you would have. Okay. So, what about them points? How them coming along?
Yeah. The points have been taken care of. I just wanted to do my little Carl Edwards rant I've been needing to do for a while now.
Wait, rants about Carl? You're gonna rant?
Not a rant. Not a rant. You know what I mean.
You're just gonna be like, I was so freaking excited. I was so happy. You know, like it was great.
Didn't mean to say that, but you know what I mean.
I was jumping up and down. I was dancing in my living room.
I mean, you're not wrong on that one. The neighbors hit. No, I didn't actually do it. The neighbors are nice to me. My friend downstairs are nice to me. But anyways, going to the point. So Kyle Larson won the race. So there's no new winner, and barely anything's changed in these. So top of the board is still Zane Smith with Christian Eckes and Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, Carson Hocevar, and all for the wins. And then we got Ty Majeski, who's the first one in points, who is up by 112. Ben Rhodes is up by 53. Matt Crafton, 38. Tanner Gray, 21. Stuart Friesen is only up by 4. And then the cutoff. Matty D down by 4. Nick Sanchez down by 16. Chase Purdy down by 32. And Jake Garcia down by 45, who's slowly been making his way up there.
He's actually been doing a lot better than what I thought he would, honestly.
And he only missed one race. Just
one.
Figure out where he would be if he didn't lose that. If he didn't miss that one race,
he'd probably be like,
close.
Yeah, he'd be right around where he is now, but maybe about probably a spot or two higher from where he is. Honestly, if I'm still really impressed with even with his. I wouldn't say inability, because he has ability. If he didn't have ability, then he wouldn't be in the 35 truck to begin with. But
here's some sorry to interrupt you on that one, but here's something I think you might be a bit interested in. So, doing a little bit more extra points, just for the hell of it. Ankram's down by 47, but get this. Deegan's only down by 54.
Oh, yeah.
9 points separate her and Garcia to at least be close to the cutoff. To at least be in the cutoff.
Right.
So that is saying, like, Hailie Deegan hasn't been, like, in the cutoff or playoff area since, like, beginning of last year. She is slowly working her way up in that 13. I can see. I don't think she's. We only have, like, let's see. Oh, I never put the number. Done. 10 races. Ooh. We only have 6 races left in the regular season.
That's just for trucks?
That's for trucks only. We just finished race number 10.
Holy.
There's only 16 races in the regular season. We are now at 6 races left of the regular season.
What? I'm having a hard time fathoming that. Like, that is...
There's only 23 races in trucks.
There is, but it still, like, blows my mind of how quick the truck season just blows by, you know?
There's only 6 races left in the truck season. And by looks of it, I still, in my personal opinion, Chase Purdy, Jake Garcia, hold on, let me find, here it is. Tyler Ankrum and Hailie Deegan can still point their way in. They just have to have amazing 6 races. They have to have amazing six races. And guys like Kraft, I would even put Ben Rhodes since he's that low too. Rhodes, Crafton, Gray, and Friesen have to have not the best races. That also includes Matt DiBenedetto, who's already out of the cutoff, but he's only out by 4.
Yeah,
so, I'm sorry to say this, buddy, but Roger Caruth is only down by 89, and everyone else is higher. He ain't unless he wins. He ain't getting in.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, he has shown speed the whole year. I mean, despite he'll have his issues, but he has shown speed on a consistent basis, week in and week out. Every time that he straps it behind the wheel of a truck. Yeah, I mean, of course. He's had a lot of troubles that have followed along with him that has screwed him over. It's not like that he's just going and wrecking the truck. Like, that is nowhere near the truth. We see the speed that he has. We know he can get good finishes. But whatever's happening to him that is not his fault, or he gets completely caught up in, is just doing him in. And 89 points below the cutoff line, unless if he improves, unless if he really depends on those drivers that are above the cutoff line or below the cutoff line, but are close right there, have really bad races, he's not making it. Like, that's, I mean, he can either just hope and pray that he wins a race to get in, or if he can't do that, for the next 6 weeks that he'll be competing, depend on those other guys that are not locked in, that are kind of just, let's say, 38 points above. Like, say, Matt Crafton, for instance, or even Tanner Gray or Sturt Friesen. They fall below the cutoff line, or Dibby or Sanchez, Purdy, but depend on those guys to have maybe 3 or 4 really bad weekends in order for Caruth to, climb his way up. I could say the same thing for Hailie Deegan, because even though, she's 54 points below, she could also depend on the same thing as Raja Caruth can. But Carruth has got to depend on it much more because of where he's at points-wise. So, I mean, I'm really, really hoping that Carruth can pull something together because I know he can. He was able to do it before in ARCA. Yes, even though I don't think he's even won an ARCA, but, you know, it's just, he's right there, though. I mean, well, not right there, you know, but I feel like he can get there.
And you mentioned like Deegan could get up there 54. That could easily be the opposite for Ben Rhodes. He can easily lose that 53-point gap. Let's say this right now. Ty Majeski, he's not safe either, but he's having so many good races. He's fine. Ty Majeski is perfectly fine.
All right, so we had a slight little intermission. I ended up getting a phone call, and I had to take it. It was pretty important. But we're back. We're going to power through this. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be okay. We could do this. We already reviewed the current truck points. I obviously did not review the Xfinity or Cup points over the last couple of weeks because half the time whenever I try to pre-record by myself, I'm running very tight on time. So, and sometimes we're just procrastinating. But Wyatt can catch us up on Xfinity and Cup points. So Wyatt, floor is yours, man.
All right, and I haven't really been here to explain the Xfinity or Cup races. Sorry, my head's kind of been iffy since the intermission, so bear with me. And I forgot who. Remind me who won the last. I know Larson won Darlington.
Yep.
Who won the race before that? I forgot.
Who won the race before Darlington? Let me look.
I think it was another Leach.
If you say another Leach, because Darlington,
I think
it was Ryan Truex who won.
Ryan Truex. Okay. He's not a Leach, but I was happy he won.
I was really happy with that too.
I was really happy. Notice that the only number that's the consistent number that's won all three series is 19.
That this year too. Oh, that's ironic. How? Ironic.
And more ironic that the person with the name 19 in like his nicknames and stuff is saying this.
Christian Eckes fan. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're not wrong. That does ever ring. I never thought about that. Yeah, that's funny. That kind of made me think. But so let's go over to.
He's still CE19 fan. Either way. Anyways.
Yeah.
Xfinity points.
So Xfinity series, we finished 10 races in the Xfinity series as well, and the points still follows. Austin Hill is still in the top with 3 wins, and Jonathan Nemechek is the only one with 2 wins. Then you got the rookies, Chandler and got the rookie Smith brothers. Well, they're not brothers, but close enough. They're 3rd and 4th, and then Jeb Burton, the only lone guy, the only other guy with a win.
Yep.
Josh Berry leads all of them, leads the point guys with 97, my bad. Cole Custer, 93. Allgaier, 91. Then there's a big 35-point gap between Allgaier and Sheldon Creed, who is 56. And then like another 17-point gap between Sheldon Creed and Riley Herbst. Then because Herbst is 39, Mayer's 35, and then Daniel Hemrick is only up by 33, rounding out the top guys. And then we go off to the cutoff where Parker Klingerman is down by 33. Brandon Jones down by 43. Ryan Sieg 63, and Brett Moffitt down by 73. This is interesting on that. With Jebburn winning back at Talladega, it's really jumbled up, and Parker Klingerman's been falling back good bit, and that kind of sucks. That I really like seeing him up in that playoff spot. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's honestly really interesting too, because when you really look at even who's below the cutoff right now, like these are teams that some 3/4 of them are teams that are mid-card to underfunded teams. I mean, Parker Klingerman, Big Machine Racing. This is the best season that they've ever had since going full time. Ryan Sieg Racing, of course, they have been right there with the top contenders for as long as I can remember, as far back as 2015. This is so far still hanging there.
They've been close. They've been close to winning too.
And I believe AM Racing for Brett Moffitt. That's
their new team.
This is their first outing, like their first season in Xfinity. They're a truck team, keep in mind. They're from the Truck Series. And they come up to Xfinity. This is their best first season that I've never seen a team perform this well in their first season since college.
I was about to say, didn't college start out pretty good in their first year?
They started out kind of meh. But they kept working at it, and they built up more speed. And ever since the chase came around, when they had Blake Cook at the time, they were on fire all the way up until Phoenix. Like, they did a really impressive job. But I don't think that they're gonna have the same type of fire that Colleague did when they first started out. Some long time ago, but I feel like Moffitt could do something similar.
Moffitt is a Truck Series champion. He's been doing pretty well, whatever he's been driving in, even when he was with our Motorsports. He does pretty well with that team, and he's not that bad of a driver, so it don't surprise me he's in the cutoff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you really think about it, there's even a couple more guys that I feel like could be sleeper picks, just like Brett Moffitt. Parker Resloff. Jordan Anderson Racing as a whole has been doing spectacular this year. This is the best season that they've ever had. They have a car that is in the chase for this year with Jeb Burton. Parker Resloff, I believe this is the best that he's ever done this year. I mean, he is
a rookie.
He is a rookie as well. So, I mean, he is in the conversation. Kaz Gralla, this is the best that he's done in a while. Yeah, I mean, they're hanging right there. The one guy that is pretty much the biggest elephant in the room that I feel like is in the most trouble right now is Brandon Jones. Of course, he's kind of right where he was before. I mean, even when he was with Gibbs. Or even with RCR. He's kind of in the exact same identical spot that he was in, where he'll either do really well, he'll get himself up in the points, or he'll be right where he is right now in the cutoff, at least 43 points below the cutoff, currently where he is right now. I feel Brandon Jones, if he can't get his stuff together, I mean, I feel like he's in trouble. He can do it. I know he's perfectly capable of doing it. He just needs to do this a little bit more on a consistent basis, if you know what I mean.
You talk about drivers who is doing a pretty good season. How about a driver for a team that's not really one of the best? But they've been showing so much lately with him behind that wheel. How about Anthony Alfredo in the 78? for BJ McLeod's team.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Alfredo, even if he was with our Motorsports or RCR or any other team, he's been in the conversation. He will look for ways to be in the conversation. He will work his way up towards, maybe top 15, top 20 at the very best. Maybe top 10 if he has a good enough car and he's got enough speed behind him. 140 points below the cutoff line, though. But I feel like he would be a long shot to get into the chase.
But here's the thing, though. He still has time. There's only 16 races left in regular season for Xfinity, so he has plenty of time.
He's got a lot more time. If he was in trucks, nope. He better hope and pray,
Now we get to the Cup Series side. This weekend, it was the All-Star race, so there's no points. But last week at Darlington, there was points, and also at Dover.
Yeah.
Which we never really got to talk about Dover. I didn't get to talk much about Dover either. So our last two winners were Mark Truex Jr., 19 dominated Dover. I was so happy with that.
Very, very easily dominated Dover, 1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm. And then William Byron made the surprise win at Darlington. I did not expect him to win. I felt iffy about that finish, but honestly, he should have won last year. I really think Byron should have won that race last year, not this year, but that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, Byron leads it with 3 wins, top of the board. Then it's the Cal and Kyle show for the 2 wins bracket with Larson then Busch. Then our winners leads it with the Joe Gibbs trio of Bell, Hamlin, and Truex. Then, their Toyota teammate of Tyler Reddick. Then Logano and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Point size. We have Ross Chastain up by 159, Harvick 130, Blaney triple ones,
111.
Keselowski 9. Here's funny. Keselowski up by 95, but we have a huge gap difference, and if my math is correct, that is 36 between Chris Buescher, who has the same number but flipped, 59. And their teammates. It's even funnier.
Yeah. Right.
Then Bubba Wallace, ironically enough, his number, 23. And then Chase Briscoe's only up by 2. Hold on. There's missed points on this one. I have to go back and fix because Briscoe is up by 2, but then I have Bowman down by 5. So I do not know where the miss points is. So let me get these checked out to make sure they are.
He's a little unsure on where the miscalculation was.
Yeah. Let me see. Here it is. Okay. Everything is fine. Just a mix up. It's not. I just missed Briscoe putting him up 3 more points. That's the only miss thing. So Briscoe's up by 5, and Bowman, who is still depleting down, is down by 5 for now. I feel like by the end of the next race, he might even be down below Cindric, not even in the cutoff picture. So Suarez is down by 13. Ty Gibbs down by 15. Austin Cindric is down by 27, and just because of Bowman, which I'm not even sure he has a playoff waiver anymore.
I think he still does. I didn't even hear anything about him having a playoff waiver taken away from him.
Well, the next person Next person on that list will be Michael McDowell, who is only down by, ironically enough, 34.
Yeah. That's
Actually,
funny to me.
could be switched because Todd Gilliland is only down by 35. So, but either way on that, that is the point coming into that next race, and this is getting pretty interesting.
It's getting spicy. 1,000,000%. Okay. So there are a couple things I feel like we could talk about that is mostly surrounding the North Wilkesboro weekend. And this mostly comes out of the Cup side of things. First of all, we did, if for those that don't know, or actually for those that have seen, but maybe also to those that don't know, to review from what happened in the Open, Michael McDowell had a little gangster moment. He got raced by Ty Gibbs pretty hard. That was just to get into the All-Star race. Unfortunately, McDowell obviously did not make the show. Ty Gibbs did. But Michael McDowell had some comments about Ty Gibbs' driving. Who would have thought? I mean, of course, there's been a lot of comments on how Ty Gibbs races, and we're getting some of those once again, this time with Michael McDowell. He didn't comment so much on his character, which is, I can respect that out of Michael McDowell. He's not one to really talk badly about one person's character, but he is one to talk badly about one person's driving style. Because if you watch the interview, he said he could have went. He kept one in the bottom. Like he was refusing to go around the outside. He just wanted the bottom and was gonna do anything to stay on the bottom. So what does Ty Gibbs do? Of course, he pile drives Michael McDowell out of the way and ends up costing Justin Haley in the process. So, is Michael McDowell out of line for saying what he said about Ty Gibbs' driving style, or is he justified to say what he said?
Well, I never saw the replay on that, so how pile drive was that? Like he really punted him?
He punted him he punted him out of the groove and right into Justin Haley.
Didn't know they were 3 wide at that point?
Not that I was 100% aware of from the couple of replays that I've seen.
And I don't know. Some people could argue that is short track racing, but then again, Ty Gibbs is way too aggressive at times, so...
It was really bad last year. Really bad. But I'm really surprised of how he's toned it down quite a bit. For me, it's a little unusual to see that out of Ty Gibbs. I'm glad to see it, but unfortunately, by the time we're recording this, yesterday evening, we kind of saw that side of Ty Gibbs come out again. And am I entirely happy about it? No, not really. Because I feel like he could have passed Mike McDowell a little bit cleaner than what he did. But it's a byproduct of short track racing on the flip side of the coin. So you could still be upset at Ty Gibbs for the way that he raced Michael McDowell.
Yeah.
But what you can't really get upset about is the setting as to where all this happened. Because you're not really going all that fast at a short track. You're going probably about 100-mile-an-hour max, like on the straightaways. And then you're right back on the brakes again.
Mm-hmm.
At least you're not doing this at a place like when it was probably, it's not anymore now. Well, Fontana or any other mile-and-a-half track, or Michigan or Daytona or Talladega. Like, at least you're not racing that way anywhere else, Don't treat any other place like it's a short track, but, it's kind of, I kind of feel a little neutral with what Ty Gibbs did. Like, yeah, he was racing aggressively, but also it was short track racing all at once.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
So it's
that's why I'm just trying to weigh options, because it is a short track.
But do I feel like Michael McDowell was out of line or justified to say exactly what he said? I'd say he was justified. Because he was on the receiving end of being punted, and it not only cost him, it took out Justin Haley, which it made Michael even more upset in the process, because Justin Haley probably would have had just as good of a chance to get in. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say Michael was totally okay to get pissed off in that moment. You know, that's just what you get out of short track racing. I mean, I can commend Michael McDowell for having as much patience and as much, what's the word? It's the word where he's trying to hold himself back. I don't even know, but that he had enough in him to just hold himself back from just going right after Ty Gibbs and just laying haymakers on him. I commend him for that. I would not have been able to contain myself at all. So, you know, that's I gotta give him props, but I do believe that what he did was, well, what he said was, I mean, let me rephrase. What he did in that moment was justified. He had every right to be pissed off. Was Ty Gibbs in the right for doing what he did? No, but it's short track racing, and it's to get into the All-Star race. So you're gonna do what you have to in order to get to that point. But you know, there's a lot of variables that could have played out differently, but it is what it is, right? Okay, I don't believe there really is. Oh, well, actually, we could talk about this one. This one's a little bit more serious, and this surrounds some chatter that has been going on around Bubba Wallace, our favorite driver, but it's not because he did anything specifically. It's because of how he was basically how he was treated when he was at North Wilkesboro, because there was constant booing at him during his intros, during post race.
Honestly, his intro, he was literally just soaking it all in. So you can't really say nothing about the intros.
No, you can't say anything about like what he did. I mean, he kind of was playing the role of the villain. I'm kind of here for it, honestly, but it's all that other stuff that he does that does make fans kind of turn away from him. That's the part that kind of turns me off from Bubba. But what he did is just kind of like, ooh, you're learning a lot from Kyle Busch. You're not him though. But anyways,
you're not the person people are trying to have Kyle be compared to either.
Right. But that's not the part that I really was pissed about. What the part that I was pissed about was on Twitter, there's a clip floating around of a fan actually cueing the radio and saying stuff like, "Oh, go back to where you came from," or "You're not wanted by NASCAR," which is that's the part that pisses me off. Like, you got a bunch of racist assholes that are just that are willing to do pretty much anything to piss Bubba off, or to throw him off his game, or to just make him feel unsafe in the sport. Like, you go back to 2020 when there was the whole controversy that was going on at Talladega with what was going on in the garage area. The noose, which wasn't a noose. It was just a tether that was attached to a garage door, which obviously you can use to open and close manually. It's
which was start the whole people not liking Bubba Wallace deal.
That's what started the whole thing, and which, I mean, like, at the time, sure, we were all there for Bubba, but like, he kept, I don't know, man. Like, it's really hard to comment on that kind of stuff, because when you don't know 100% what to say in that particular moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But I hate of how fans 3 years later are still holding on to that and are using that as just like, oh, that's our reason to go after Bubba, or oh, you know, it's because of the color of his skin, or it's like I hate that. I hate of how that's their reasoning of how they don't like Bubba. You could say, sorry to cut you off, by the way, but you could say you don't like Bubba because of the way that he races, or of how his personality is. It's just like, it's not exactly how your ideal personality for a driver. Okay, like, that's fine. But the color of his skin, even after what happened all the way back at Dega, and especially what's been going on in the outside world that he was standing for at the time, grow up. Like, come on. I'm sorry, that stuff just pisses me off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, my thing is, like, you mentioned all the stuff did, like, trying to be more social, trying to be more political, and all the stuff, and all that stuff. That's why I'm not a huge fan. Like, skin color never mattered to me.
Exactly.
Before all of it, I liked Bubba Wallace. I loved when he took over the 43 for Eric Almirola back in 2013. I was all for it.
You mean 2017.
27. What did I say?
You said 2013. He was driving for Kyle Busch at the time in trucks.
Again, sorry, I'm just not. Even before, I've only had one of these, and it was already messed up before. So let's show us how my mood's kind of changed since the first half of the recording. But anyways, I meant to say 2017 when he subbed for Eric Almirola in the 43.
Yeah.
I was all happy for it. He got seat time. He was pretty good. He had a good rookie season.
Yeah.
In 2018.
Yeah.
19 he was there. He raced pretty well. It wasn't the best year, but he did pretty well.
Yep.
Then just 2020 came around, and that's when it's all started come out. I liked Bubba, but then it's like he got all political and all that stuff. I'm not saying I'm against anything. I'm not saying that. That's not where my point is on this. Just like him trying to get political and him trying to get, I don't know, all that. He's not a bad driver. I am not going to deny it. He's not a bad driver. He does have a couple wins under his belt. He actually, my personal opinion, got his official win last year when he drove the 45.
Yep.
So he's able to win races, and he's at a really good team.
Yeah, he has the capabilities of winning. He has the capabilities of putting on a good show and racing. I mean, I still, even to this day, admire that out of Bubba. Like, he can still do it. It's just when you bring up anything that involves the politics or anything that involves all this other stuff. Politics and even anything revolving around any sort of serious real world issue. Like, if you bring that into the sport, yeah, some people may not like that. Some people will get turned off by that. And it's just, It's not. I like Bubba because Bubba the driver, but just I feel like just Bubba the person. Yeah, it's just like I don't know, man. It's like it's hard to get behind him, especially when he brings it up. I mean, it's not that I'm against him. It's not that I'm against anything that he stands for. It's just I don't feel like NASCAR is the place to get your political views out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the place for it. No disrespect to Bubba, nothing against Bubba or his driving ability at all. Not that it has anything to do with his driving ability. It's just, it's not the right spot, not the right place. I mean, you could go to Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, just not NASCAR programming. That's my thing. But
I got one more bit, and and it's not anything news to popped up, but it's something I kind of want to sprinkle a little fire in before it's probably announced.
Mm-hmm.
We may have our first silly season news coming into Charlotte.
Okay.
So I remember seeing like a few weeks back that Josh Berry said he was probably going to be reviewed. I'd say maybe it was a month ago, but he was going to be reviewing his first, probably his Cup, where he's going to land in Cup Series next year at Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that was going to happen like few weeks back. I don't know, remember where it starts. Maybe it was Eric Eastep. I don't know, but it's Charlotte. It's about to be Charlotte, and will we get our first bit of silly season news?
I actually did hear something about that because I watched that specific section out of Eric Eastep's video where it addressed the whole rumors of where Josh Berry could land. There's a chance. It's not official. We don't know until the announcement is made. But there's a chance that he could be driving the 4 car next year, maybe? Question mark?
And that would be a really good fit. That would be a really good fit for Josh Berry. He's already proving himself in the Cup Series, filling in for Chase Elliott and now Alex Bowman. He even raced his way into the All-Star race.
Yeah.
So, Josh Berry is a really good driver, and he's getting good seat time. This is what happened with both Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs last year, and look at them now. They're currently rookies. Ty Gibbs is currently below the cutoff, and Noah Gragson, yes, he isn't having the best season, but he's still doing pretty well.
He's holding his own.
Pretty well. He's a rookie, so Josh Berry, I can see him being the 4 next year. We still don't know about Eric Almirola.
Yeah, I didn't even hear anything about Almirola's contract situation since he announced that he was not retiring after last year.
So this begs all the questions, though. Like, what is Josh Berry's plan? Because this is probably going to be the start of the silly season. This is going to kick off the silly season.
Yeah, and if that's the case, Josh Berry to the 4 next year in the Cup level, that would start like that's like you're firing the starter gun, and silly season is running off on its way, literally right off with a bang. Like
exactly.
That is. You're starting off silly season with probably one of the biggest news that we're ever going to get all year is who is going to be Kevin Harvick's replacement heading into 2024. And there's another thing. As far as Almirola's contract situation, since we have no clue what his contract situation is beyond this year, but if he were to call it quits after this year, if there's any sort of replacement that I feel like would be perfectly fit for Eric Almirola, as much as I don't think this would be the case, but logically it could make sense, is Riley Herbst. Because Herbst, he's not like an A double plus driver. He's not. Like he didn't start off the greatest. He didn't start off hot when in his Xfinity tenure with SHR, but he worked on it and he got better. I mean, and he has been performing pretty solid. So I feel like he'd be a good candidate for the 10, depending on the contract situation from Almirola's side.
Riley Herbst started this season with a bang, doing so well at the beginning. He was mainly the top. He was the top of the points for a while.
Yeah.
But then races started messing with him, and he just dropped.
Yeah, it's like he dropped off the face of the earth. You know,
he's a pretty good driver. He's a good driver. I think he's matured enough. He is going to end up being. He's going to be a Cup Series driver. He's not going to be one of the top I don't see him being one of the top guys. I don't. But even if with a good team with Stuart Haas, but even then, he's going to do pretty well, and I can't wait to see how well.
And I feel like he would be the most logical replacement for Almirola. I can't say Custer, not yet, because we've seen how he does in Cup. Like he didn't perform the greatest, but he didn't perform terrible either. But I still think that Riley Herbst out of anybody would be probably the best candidate for the 10. Should Almirola call it quits after this year? It just depends on what his contract situation looks like. So we'll see. But I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's all the stories and headlines. So why don't we go ahead and review, I think, our favorite weekend out of the entire schedule. I feel like this is second to Daytona 500 weekend.
Yeah.
It is the Memorial Day weekend, the Coca-Cola 600. We've also got Indy. We've also got Monaco in there as well. I don't know, man. This whole thing just puts a smile on my face. But we're looking ahead to Charlotte, and we got a lot on our hands. But we're mainly going to talk about the Charlotte weekend. So, looking ahead to the triple header, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. What are we looking for, man? What are we expecting?
Well, I'm trying to think back on the Truck Series that race here. I do not remember who won. Oh, it was Kyle Busch that won that race. No surprise.
Oh, you talking about Trucks last year?
Last year.
It was Ross Chastain.
Oh, was Ross Chastain the one?
Yeah.
Well, either way, that race, he's not even in there. Ooh, this is going to be interesting.
Oh, you got the entry list already?
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to send you all the entry lists.
You forget the source I have that has the entry list.
I have one of the sources that has the entry lists right now.
So do I.
Look at that.
But this is going to be interesting. We have no leeches in the Truck Series, and by the looks of it, I don't think we have any in the. Oh nope, Kyle Busch is in the 10 for the Xfinity, and Ty Gibbs is in the 19.
Great.
But they're the only ones I see. Could be Ross Chastain in the 91 as well, because there's no one filling that spot yet.
Not yet.
Plus, no one's in the number 1 for the Truck Series either, so.
Who knows? It could be Bubba.
It's fine. Anyways.
It's okay. He barely races in trucks these days.
But Truck Series, I feel like it's going to be pretty hectic. I mean, last year we had we had a Kosovar dominate the end of that race before caution came out, ended up screwing him over in that race. But that truck race was pretty good. I remember Xfinity race made a historic with Josh Berry winning, getting Junior Motorsports their first win.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the chaotic Coca-Cola 600 with the next gen car that actually made it amazing. Well, not for Chris Buescher, but
for everybody else, yeah, easily.
Well, I'd say this is going to be pretty good, and I'm already ready for. Oh, wait a minute! I didn't catch this the first time. So Todd Gilliland is racing with Rick Ware.
Oh yeah, that's right. Zane's in the 38 this time.
But
okay,
he's not in the 15.
Oh, he's in the 51.
He's in the 51.
Oh my gosh!
I scanned through that the first one, like, Todd Gilliland's in for Rick Ware Racing. Okay, yada. Yeah, he's back in there. I see Zane Smith 38. Yeah. Here's that, and then I just now took a glance. I'm like, wait a minute, he's in the 51.
Oh my gosh! He's there in the 51.
Yeah, I just realized this will have Cody Ware in this damn thing on the points. I just happened to take a look. I'm like, I still have him in here. Why is he here?
Oh my gosh!
Let me just go ahead and just add the new number 51 to Todd Gilliland's 4 numbers he's racing this season.
Yeah, that's the 4th one. The fourth different number that he's run all year.
With 2 teams. With
2 different teams. What's next? You're just going to randomly just put Todd in the 34, Michael in the 36, while Zane drives the 38 so he can make it 5?
Who knows?
You might as well at this point.
But at least we know that I'm going to be such an asshole saying this, but at least we know the 51 will be competitive.
Well, who knows? It could be more competitive with Todd behind the wheel.
But yeah, I just happened to look at that, but it's like, holy crap, I didn't catch that.
Man.
This will be an interesting Coca-Cola 600 if it's as crazy as chaotic as it was last year.
Mm-hmm. But this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a very, very crazy weekend. That is for sure. As always, we know this from previous years. So here we go with our predictions for the Triple Crown weekend, the triple header, I should say, from Charlotte. Driver to win, that's pretty self-explanatory. The driver to stay away from is the guy that hasn't really been doing well the last couple weeks, or we're just coming up to a check where they suck at. The dark horse is the exact opposite. Memorial Day weekend, 3 races. Well, really, if you want to count Monaco and Indy, 5 overall races. We're in for a banger of a weekend. That is a fact. But as far as the NASCAR side, still a certified banger. Wyatt, you're up first.
I'm putting this out with a bang. My dark horse, you know what? He's been he got 3rd last week. He's building momentum back. Let's see him get back in the top in the playoffs, in the top half of the playoffs again. Matty D is my dark horse for Charlotte. My driver to stay away from, I am so sorry, buddy, Raja Caruth.
Yeah.
Raja Caruth hasn't had the best few weeks as of late, and I feel like it's going to carry over. And my winner, he's getting redemption. Carson Hocevar is getting redemption. For the Xfinity. For the Xfinity Series, my dark. This one's a bit more tricky. My dark horse, I'm going with Parker Klingerman.
Okay.
My driver to stay away from. he hasn't been doing it in the last few weeks, has he? Riley Herbst.
Yeah, we alluded to that a little bit ago, but yeah, he hasn't been doing all that great either.
But my winner. I'm gonna go somewhere. It's been this long since they've won, but he's going to give him another win. I'm going Josh Berry.
Oh yeah.
Junior Motorsports is in need for a win. Josh Berry won this last year. I see he could do it again. For the Cup Series side, this one's going to be a bit hard because how chaotic it was. But I'm just going to go for it. And as the winner, as the Xfinity Series, Josh Berry is my dark horse.
Look at that.
My driver to stay away. My driver to stay away from. I'm so sorry to do this to you. Chris Buescher.
Oh, I thought you was apologizing to me personally. Oh.
No.
That took a turn for me.
Now my win. Oh. Ooh, you know what? I take that. Ooh, I forgot he was in the race.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You know what? I take back one of those. Sorry, Josh Berry. Jimmy Johnson's my new dark horse. I forgot Jimmy Johnson was in this, but even though he's not been he hasn't had the best start since he came back. This is one of his best tracks.
Agreed.
By far one of his best tracks. So
yeah.
I gotta give that one to Jimmy Johnson. I didn't know. I forgot he was in this race. But no, I'm still being an asshole to Chris Buescher. Sorry, buddy.
You're just like, oh, wait a minute. Nah, never mind.
My driver to win. Seems like there's a bit of a pattern as of late.
Okay.
He didn't win the Coca-Cola 600 this year. Or that year, I'm sorry. But All-Star Race. He won it. Even though he didn't win the Coca-Cola 600. Had a good season. 2021. All-Star Race. And then Coca-Cola 600 winner. Ended up being champion. This year, All-Star Race winner has momentum. Win number 3 for the Coca-Cola 600. Kyle Larson.
I figured. Yeah. He has had some amazing momentum this year.
Also, by the way, I don't know if we mentioned this about Kyle Larson, but he is now tied with not only with two of the greatest drivers in the sport with All-Star Race wins. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt with 3 All-Star Race wins, by the way.
It's just
one behind Jimmy Johnson.
That's something we didn't even think about until we just realized, oh my gosh, he has just as many All-Star wins as Jeff Gordon and Dale Sr. One more and he could be tied with Jimmy Johnson. That in and of itself, and the amount of time that he was able to do this in, is unreal. He did this just as quickly as Jeff Gordon did. Think about that for a second.
Every other year.
Yeah. Let that sink in for a minute. So, here we go. It's my turn. Let's do this.
Run away.
Of course you want me to run. Alright, well, if you want.
Well, you're wearing Logano, so...
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Ooh, beware. I'm scary.
Oh, no, I could kick your ass in 2K. I had you in the game. I can literally kick your ass in the game.
Sure. So, for my driver to win. See, honestly, He could actually do it. I think I'm going to double down on your driver to win, Carson Hocevar. Not because I'm biased, because he is actually about, his home is probably about 40 minutes out from where I live. But it's because he actually has done super well at a place like Charlotte. I think, what? You said he dominated? He could dominate again.
I don't know if he dominated, but he did about almost win that race.
He could do it. He could do it this year. Driver to stay away from? Let's say driver to stay away from. Who do I think is going to be the guy that is not going to get the good run this weekend? Dean Thompson.
How the hell did I know?
Because it's Dean Thompson.
I had a gut feeling. It's like the back of my head's like, why do I feel he's going to say Dean Thompson?
Well, you just do. Dean Thompson, I don't got much to say about Dean Thompson. Just Dean Thompson's my driver to stay away from. It's just,
here's the thing on that though. Dean Thompson did pretty good at Texas.
He did, but Texas, you've seen Texas. It's a whole different beast compared to Charlotte.
Fair point, but at the same time, like it's the same type. So
it's the same distance. Like it's also a 1.5 mile track, but it's
yeah. I give it to you now.
Anyways, so dark horse though. Call me crazy, call me bald, but call me predictable at the same time. Haley Deegan is going to be my dark horse for this one.
Okay.
And I understand. Yeah, she kind of, she'll have really good runs and then kind of get finishes that kind of get lower in the order. But I feel like with Deegan, she could. I feel like she has definitely capitalized on the 1.5 mile programs. She has done a fantastic job. Which, speaking of Texas, she finished 6th, by the way. So, I just feel like that. She maybe could translate that what she's doing over to Charlotte.
And Deegan, like you mentioned, been proving she's been doing a whole lot better since she went to Thor Sport. This is by far her best season.
Easily.
And like I mentioned before, if she can only she just needs 9 points. And she needs about 9 points, and she's literally in the cutoff.
Absolutely. Now, for the Xfinity side. My driver to win. This is still kind of tough for me. I think I'm going to go out on a tiny little limb, but, it's kind of a semi-safe pick, and say Justin Allgaier is my driver to win.
I was thinking Allgaier too, because he was the one battling with Josh Berry.
I feel like if Josh Berry wasn't going to get it, Allgaier was. This year, if it plays out the same way, maybe the shoe could be on the other foot this time. But driver to stay away from, though, I could do it for the memes and say Ty Gibbs, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save my driver to stay away from. I'm going to have to agree on Riley Herbst on this one, man. He kind of... 2023 came around, and it almost feels like he fell off the face of the earth. His fall off just really hasn't been, pretty at all. My dark horse, however, though, I want to take a little bit of a different direction here. Sammy Smith is my dark horse, man.
Sammy Smith was another one I was thinking of.
Yeah, Sammy has shown tons of speed right off the bat this year. I mean, where did he won this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won at Phoenix.
He did win at Phoenix, didn't he? Wow. Yeah. That's right. He did win a Phoenix. That's crazy. But Sammy Smith this year, I feel like, has been... To me, I feel like he's just been on a whole different level. I mean, for himself personally. I feel like he could get his second win of the season, possibly at Charlotte, but if not, still can get a really good finish either way.
Yeah, Sammy Smith has been improving. Like when we knew Ty Gibbs was moving up to the Cup Series, and we were running out of people for Joe Gibbs' expenses, we knew it was going to be Sammy Smith and John Hunter Nemechek, and those two are doing pretty well together as it is. Not just them, but all the part-time drivers who drove the 19. Hell, if Martin Truex Jr. retires, and I honestly say this year he could retire off a good note because he actually did win a race.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he retires this year, he got a win under his belt. He's good. Make a good long championship run, and then call it. If you want to retire there, and then John Hunter Nemechek moves up, and who replaces him? Right. So
it all comes
that
full
would
circle. That would be amazing.
So all of Joe Gibbs Racing in Xfinity Series has been doing amazing. So
overall,
even the part-time drivers.
And now it's time for the main event, the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, 600 miles of remembrance. So, here we go. My driver to win. I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. This is going to be really tough to figure this out because of just how balls to the wall last year's race was and how chaotic it got right at the end. Like it's hard to figure that out because the track. Here's something to point out. The Trackhouse boys pretty much dominated that race all the way up until it got chaotic. So for me, I feel like it's gonna be between the Trackhouse guys or anybody else that was survived all the way up until the end.
Survive, and you mentioned drivers survive at the end. Names top of my head is, of course, the winner, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch. Those names are the top first three names that popped up in my head.
And also, I don't know if I think he finished, but Larson. I think Larson was around at the very end for as much as happened to him all night last year. Like. Like, he spun out, he was on fire, he hit the wall, he probably got a penalty, he hit everything except for the hot dog stand, he almost won. It's crazy of how much happened to Larson, and he still managed to finish, and he still was in contention to win. Oh man, but anyways, I think I'm going to have to base this off of who was running at the very end versus the Trackhouse guys, honestly. But if there's anybody that I feel like could be a driver to win that was running at the very end, at the very, very least, Kyle Busch. You can't go wrong with Kyle Busch winning the Coca-Cola 600.
And here's the funny thing about that one. Last time he won was 2018. And at that point, before the Roval, he had won at every single track.
Yes.
That was the last track he needed to win.
Yeah, exactly. But if North Wilkesboro becomes a points race for next year or the year before, that's one more track he needs to win at. Anyways.
Oh no, there's a few more. He got to get the Roval. He's got. I mean, you can't really count the Daytona Road Course now.
Well, yeah, because they took it off. Still don't like how they took it off.
Oh, well, they also got Road America. Well, you can't add Road America either.
Still don't like how they took that one off either, but they put that in the place for the street course.
You got Gateway, which street course is another. You got Gateway now. What other? You got Bristol Dirt. Oh no, he won Bristol Dirt. Take that one back. Take that one back.
Yeah,
there's so many tracks added since.
Yeah, there's a good list of them that he hasn't won at now, but
Coda.
That's right, Coda. At least on the Cup side, he won an Xfinity side, but not Cup.
That's what Nashville. You mentioned that. Let's talk Nashville.
Yeah, that's another one that he hasn't won it on the Cup side yet. But there's a lot of them that he still has now that he's yet to win at. But this year, as far as present tense, Kyle Busch is my driver to win the Coke 600 this year.
All right.
My driver to stay away from? See, here's the thing. He's still, this year, he has been very hit or miss. But he's missed more than he's hit. And this week is going to add on to that. We haven't really talked about him a whole lot this year. He was hyped. And then he comes up. And he kind of hasn't been doing a whole lot. AJ Allmendinger's my driver to stay away from.
Yeah, agreed. AJ Allmendinger.
What happened? Man was on top of the world when he was in Xfinity. He comes back to Cup and he's kind of right back to where he was before. I hate seeing that because he was at the peak of his career when he was winning races on the Xfinity side, but then you come back to Cup and you feel like all that momentum's gonna shift over. It's gonna come over to the Cup side, and you're gonna do absolutely fantastic. No, that just hasn't. That success that he had on the Xfinity side, and the success that he had when he was a part-time driver in the Cup side, it hasn't translated him going back to full-time. I'm sorry. Allmendinger's my driver to stay away from. My dark horse, though, is last year's winner of the Coke 600, Denny Hamlin. He can still, even if he wins, whether if he wins or not, hey, he still shows really good speed at Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't know what more could you really say about the speed and consistency that Denny Hamlin shows at a place like Charlotte, you know? I don't even know how many Coke 600s he's won other than last year, but still, irregardless.
I think that's his only Coke 600 win.
I think maybe. But
that's his only one.
But aside from that, it's still very impressive to me of how even after all these years, he still has shown pretty good speed at a place like Charlotte. So, Denny Hamlin's my dark horse. All right. So, we pretty much talked about all we need to. We've previewed the Memorial Day weekend, at least the NASCAR festivities over at Charlotte. Any final thoughts before we get Memorial Day weekend underway?
Let's go racing and let's see how chaotic it gets.
Hell yeah. That's pretty much going to do it for us. Want to thank you guys a lot for watching. If you guys like this, be sure to give it a like. And if you have not considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to hit that green follow button so you don't miss a future audio replay of each GTN episode that is supposed to come out at Thursdays at now noon Eastern. So that's pretty much about it. So take care, guys. On behalf of Wyatt Walker, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.